I do not discriminate between coffee and tea. I truly love them both. The only thing with both is I either like them hot, as in hot, 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 which is why I always use a coffee cup like this. This is a Yeti. What's your favorite container for coffee? I like this one for home, but of course it doesn't fit in my car. So I have another one for that. This one's getting a little bit well used though. What was I saying? Okay, so I either like them, if they're gonna be hot, they gotta be piping hot, which is why I drink it out of this rather than a regular cup, or cold, as in ice cold. None of this in between stuff, no thanks. But I truly love both, and my diet consists of the consumption of both. I used to think, should I be eliminating coffee and tea from my diet? I feel like both have kind of got a bad rap. And I did eliminate all caffeine from my diet when I was pregnant. I have 3 kids, so I've done it 3 times for 9 months, probably 10 months, also while I was nursing. Okay, so I've done it for a long time, but I always come back. And I actually also went off caffeine when I was having my worst migraines. My neurologist actually convinced me to cut back on my caffeine intake and then use it as a strategy when I felt a migraine coming on. It did actually help, as did taking a magnesium supplement, but these are videos for another day. Although I'd love to hear in the comments below if any of you are migraine sufferers. For today, I wanted to debunk the myth that coffee and tea is bad for your skin, because it's actually quite the opposite. Let's get into it. Both coffee and tea can offer several skin benefits, but we have to consider consumption is in moderation and not with the addition of tons of sugar, cream, and other additives into our favorite beverages. I recently switched to black coffee, which is something I never, ever, ever imagined that I'd be able to do. And now I'm kind of a bit of a coffee snob, and I actually feel like black coffee genuinely tastes better, and that some of the taste is lost when adding cream. Okay, another comment below, drop what your coffee order is. I did it because I really wanted to embrace intermittent fasting, and I love, beyond anything else, like truly love my first coffee of the day. It's almost an experience. And I figured with the intermittent fasting, ideally I wouldn't have cream in my coffee. So I thought I would eliminate from my morning coffee, and then that way if I had a coffee in the afternoon, I'd have cream in that one. And that's how I was carrying on. But it turns out I really like the taste of black coffee now. So now whenever I have a coffee, it's black. Except when it's an iced coffee, and those I leave in the capable hands of Starbucks. The creamier, the sugarier, the better. It's kind of like a dessert. Drop a heart and a coffee emoji below if you agree with me, and I'll know what you mean. But seriously, coffee and tea, and especially green tea, are very rich in antioxidants. And if you're not familiar with what antioxidants can do in your skin, then watch the video that I uploaded last week on the top 3 skincare products for anti-aging that I'll link at the end of this video in case you missed it. And in that video, I explain kind of in a bit scientific detail the power of antioxidants. Suffice it to say, antioxidants neutralize free radicals in your body that can cause oxidative stress to cells, including skin cells. Antioxidants help to combat that free radical damage, leading to healthier skin cells and potentially reducing the signs of aging. Personally, my morning starts with a cup of hot water with a lemon in it, immediately followed by a black coffee. The next thing I make is a matcha, which then brings me to lunchtime. I typically have an Earl Grey or an orange pico after lunch, and then either a decaf tea or a decaf coffee after dinner, and oftentimes a herbal tea before bed. So I drink a lot of both per day. Are you the same, or are you team tea or team coffee? Both coffee and tea also have anti-inflammatory properties. And of course, there's various skin issues like acne, eczema, rosacea. I should say I have combination skin that's also sensitive, rosacea prone, tends to be dehydrated. So for me, rosacea is just inflammatory in nature. So I try to capitalize on anti-inflammatory things in my diet and topically applied skincare products as well, because they can help to reduce the overall inflammation response in the body. And for me, I need all the help I can get. The next thing is actually, I think, the biggest myth when it comes to coffee or caffeinated drinks. How many of you have heard that you need to drink at least 1 glass of water to counteract the dehydrating effects of 1 cup of coffee? I grew up believing that fact, and it's not. Contrary to popular belief, moderate amounts of coffee and tea consumption does not in fact dehydrate you. They can actually both contribute to your daily intake of hydration. Adequate hydration is crucial for maintaining skin health, which can be detrimental to the skin's appearance. I am a true believer that what you ingest inside can present itself on your skin. I do believe that there is a direct correlation with that. So I know that not all skin hydration will be solved by drinking lots of water, and not all of your skin concerns can be solved by what you're eating in your diet alone. I do believe it's a combination of things. So I tackle my hydration with a hydrating skincare routine and hydrating skincare products, but I also think internal hydration is very important. Going back to that myth, while coffee does have diuretic properties, most of its content is actually water. Some studies suggest that the polyphenols found in tea, and especially green tea, can really have protective factors within the skin and within the body. It may actually help to reduce the skin cell damage caused by UV radiation. Compounds present in coffee and tea, like caffeine, are actually shown to improve blood circulation, which can also be really great for the skin. I know some people like to make their own DIY exfoliation products with ground up coffee beans. I would never ever do that myself. But that's also because I have very sensitive skin and a very easily inflamed skin barrier. But I know some people love their homemade face masks. So I guess if it's working for you, okay, but just be aware that little micro tears from the texture of these types of at-home facial masks can be really damaging to the skin. So big word of caution from me. Coffee and tea and caffeine in particular aren't just the be-all end-all. There is some downsides, especially when we're talking about consumption that leans into the excessive mode and not the moderate mode. I think most medical professionals agree that 3 to 4 cups of caffeine per day is considered moderate consumption. But when you cross over that and lean into the excessive amount, insomnia and sleep disturbances are definitely a downside. And I think there is a very strong connection with sleep and skin. And I have a very unhealthy sleep cycle. It definitely impacts my skin and can actually cause my rosacea to flare. Caffeine is a stimulant, and ingesting excessive amounts, and especially in the evening time, can really disrupt your sleep patterns, leading to difficulty both falling asleep and staying asleep. There are so many issues with a lack of sleep, and I don't need to share those with you. I'm sure you're well aware in terms of fatigue, cognitive abilities, mood changes, etc. But I really remember one night having great difficulty falling asleep, and one of those nights where you're just watching the hours go by and wondering, should I just stay up because it's closer to morning at this point? And as I was laying there wondering, why can I not fall asleep? I suddenly thought, I did have a decaf coffee after dinner tonight. I wonder if I made a regular coffee instead of a decaf. I literally got up, went downstairs, looked in my Nespresso machine, and lo and behold, it was a caffeinated coffee. That little sucker kept me up till 4 a.m. So I make very, very, very sure I'm drinking decaf anytime after 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. Other downsides to excessive caffeine consumption can include increased heart rate and blood pressure, if you've ever had that when you feel like you've had just one too many coffees and you're a bit jittery. Digestive issues, acid reflux, heartburn, stomach issues. Excessive caffeine intake can also have a laxative effect. I think we've all experienced that once or twice too. Dependency and withdrawal symptoms. If you've ever tried to go off caffeine, you've probably noticed that you've had increased headaches, irritability, fatigue, concentration challenges. And for some people, caffeine intake can exacerbate anxiety or nervousness. Really important to understand that the effects of caffeine can vary from person to person, and your tolerance and what's considered moderate for you may be very different than what's moderate for someone else. So while moderate consumption is considered safe, can have some corresponding skin health benefits as well as overall health benefits. Important to note the negative side effects as well. And of course, with any dietary discussion, you should be in consultation with a dietitian or a medical professional, especially if you have specific health concerns. And I would say, I personally just balance my caffeine intake with excessive hydration as well. Water is my go-to when it comes to hydration. I'm kind of lucky because I've never liked pop or soda in my life, so I'm not sidetracked by that or tempted by that. Water tends to be my go-to when it comes to hydration. Cooler. It's probably on the kitchen or downstairs. Just look till you find it. The pink and fluorescent one. So have that. I have my meeting in 10 minutes with the brand, and then after that we'll do dinner. Okay?
Great time.
I love you. So the moral of this video is that coffee and tea both have their strengths and their drawbacks, but when it comes to skin health and skin hydration, they can also have some skin health benefits, especially due to their antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and hydrating properties. Please drop your coffee routines below. As one coffee and tea consumer to another, I look forward to reading your favorite teas, coffees, places you go to have coffee or tea. I want to read it all. And of course, your perspective, whether it's good or bad for your skin. If you haven't watched these videos, be sure to watch them next. Thanks as always for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day.